Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Now, this is just an addition which will count as a separate episode. I think I just needed to make sure that I do more than one episode, to be able to really properly conclude, the whole concept of healing, and it's something that I've also been learning a lot about, and the thing about this is that I learn a lot. So when I come and minister general things I've either gone through, learned along the way, which I think are really, really key to my journey, which I would love also, to minister to you guys in some way, shape, or form. So today we're going to look at identity as a factor of permanent healing. Now, it's imperative that we know who we are, because this whole journey, in order for us to build a moral compass or understand who we are, where we are going, and be able to protect ourselves from certain decisions and things that are not beneficial to where we are going, we need to know who we are and what we want out of this life. Now, I've looked at this, and I feel like it's been a problem for a lot of people, where they've gotten to that stage where it's like, okay, who am I, and back when I went through that, I think I was in matric, it caused a lot of depression for me, because I just didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted out of life. And at that point, like, I was in matric, and every adult in the family is asking you, so, what are you going to do and things like that. And I would tell people, oh, no, I want to do this, I want to do that. But what the career that I had in mind at that time, I had chosen because I loved how it was executed. Like, I love how the people execute law. Amazing, how they find loopholes and things like that. But it's not something that I'm passionate about. I had just gone with it that time because I really had a fear of disappointing my parents, and making them, panic and things like that. Like, okay, how does this guy not know, and I never knew that, I still had to get to that stage where I discovered who I am, but for many the journey is different. And I think maybe this episode will help a lot of people to then go and see God and understand who they are and what they want out of this life, because it's very crucial, and it really, really gives you, a clear perspective, on what you desire for your tomorrow, so we're just going to look at three facets and aspects, that we're going to be able to dissect and look at and see why this is a factor of healing. Now, we must understand that healing comes in many different ways, shapes, and forms. And you may find that healing is administered. But now we get to the point where we must maintain healing. And maintaining healing, is the part that I think a lot of people find difficult. Because maybe God would heal you, and then, maybe a certain decision that you would make, and then, now you must come back and be healed and things like that. But that's not what God wants. God doesn't want to heal us for seasons or seasonally. God wants to heal us permanently so that we can be able to fulfill the agenda that He has called us to. Because the truth of the matter is that nobody knows how long or how much time we have on this earth. So it's imperative that we utilize every single day as an opportunity to not only heal, but maintain the healing that we have, So number one, we're looking at knowing who you are. You must know who you are, because this helps you to be able to look at decisions from a futuristic perspective. That, okay, no, this company, where are they going in terms of their life? Okay, if they want to live like that, I need to withdraw myself because I need to fulfill a mandate, So you need to be careful of who you keep around you. But how are you going to be careful of who you keep around you if you don't know where you're going? Because we're all going to different directions. And the issue is that if your friends are not pouring into you in such a way that is building you up for what you're walking into in future, then they're not good friends, in a sense that when you're around them, you're not growing, you're not maturing. Instead, you are maybe having conversations that are not beneficial and things like that. And it's imperative that we understand that God wants to associate us. God is a relational God, but He wants to associate us with people who are going somewhere and who are moving forward in life, And many people may take time to get to that. So it's imperative that you always make sure that your future is in God's hands, first and foremost. It always is, but I mean in terms of surrender and making sure that you are not reliant on any human being to fulfill your purpose, but that you are focused on God. So you need to know who you are, because this helps you when you're healed. You now know that, okay, if I make this certain decision and I then step into a place maybe where, somebody, is interacting with me or something like that, and, the Lord doesn't want, certain people around you and things like that, because maybe people are walking in different directions and things like that, it's now imperative for you to make that decision to be like, okay, no, for where I'm going, this is not beneficial. For where I'm going, that's not beneficial. So I need to focus on where I'm going, and even in terms of healing, a lot of company that we keep, the way we live, the decisions that we make, these are key factors, to maintaining healing. Because you must know that as much as God can heal you, it's then our responsibility to maintain that healing by guarding our hearts, by guarding ourselves from the wrong company, because bad company does corrupt good morals, so we need to make sure that we are consecrated in a sense that we are now focused on our destiny, and we are now focused on where we are going, and we are taking healing serious, because God can heal you. God can do it instantly. God can deal with wounds that you never thought you would heal from. But it's imperative that we then don't put ourselves back in those situations. Maybe even relationships, in the context of relationships, that when God heals you from a relationship, now start seeking Him for what He wants for you in terms of a relationship. And, leave the dating scene, wait for marriage, wait for that person or that companion that the Lord will bring at the right time, so that you're able to step into that season, the best version of you, knowing that God gives the best. Yes, the person that God will bring will still have things that you guys need to work on, because you won't just automatically gel and be perfect. That's not a real world concept, And number 2, knowing where you are going. So in order to know your identity, you must know who you are. So you need to see God on God. Who am I? Who do you say I am? And there's the nature that God has given us in the Bible, that we are a royal priesthood, a chosen generation. But now when we come to specifics, when I'm looking at you, as a viewer on the screen, to be like, you specifically, who does God say you are? Maybe God has called you as an engineer, and He wants to work on your heart and things like that. So these are very key concepts, so you must know who you are first. Number 2, know where you are going. It is imperative to have a vision for your life. So once you discover who you are, then you know where you are going. You need to know where you are going. And this helps you because then, let's say, for example, you're walking this journey, you're going, and let's say, for example, you don't have a vision. You are just walking and you're like, we'll see along the way. And then this one guy says, oh, no, let's start a business, whatever like this. You invest everything you have, falls apart. Then you move forward, and the next guy comes, and 50 people come, with different visions. It's like you're just being swayed and tossed by the wind, and that's a very dangerous concept, So that's why we need to now know where we are going, know that, okay, this is the end goal, so that you don't hurt yourself or wound yourself along the way, making decisions that you could have avoided had you known yourself and known where you're going, right? And number 3, being able to evade things. There's a lot of situations and circumstances that present themselves in life, that we need to be able to now discern and differentiate between, to understand that, for me to maintain my healing, I need to take responsibility to be like, okay, cool. God, by His grace, has healed me. Now I need to allow myself to use this version of myself to better myself, improve, and cultivate, the grace that has been bestowed upon you, discovering a lot of new gifts and things like that, and maintaining that healing by evading, different situations and things that can be detrimental to that specific level of healing that you're working with. So we've looked at 3 things, which is knowing who you are, knowing where you're going, and being able to evade things. So this is how we looked at identity as a factor of permanent healing. I hope this message did bless you guys, and I hope that it encourages you, to now discover who you are and who God has called you to be, so that you can be able to live in permanent healing, in the sense that now that you know who you are, you know that, okay, now you are responsible for maintaining that healing, in a sense that, yes, life happens. There's certain circumstances and situations that you will go through that the Lord allows. But what I'm rather trying to address is now us not being the ones who put ourselves in those circumstances and situations where we get hurt, and then now we need to go on another season of isolation and heal and undo those old concepts and now start building new ones. So just to help us to now walk in line with God, because this relationship with God is partnership. We must understand that He doesn't dictate. He encourages and He prompts by His grace, and His ways are really higher than ours, and His ways will cause you to bear fruit. So it's imperative that we get to a place in a space where we understand His heart, but not only His heart, but we also guard our hearts above and beyond everything, because now we have the responsibility, seeing that we have been healed, and now we are partnering with God. So I hope this episode blessed you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I absolutely love you guys, and I pray that God may bless each and every single one of you. I love you guys, and I hope that you guys have a blessed weekend. And we'll see you in the next episode. I really keep forgetting this thing, guys, but forgive me.